Okay, let's now deal with the component that's going to go on the right hand side of our activity dashboard, and that's going to be a filter component so that we can select from conditions that will then filter out other activities we're not interested in. So let's head back to VS Code and deal with this. I'm just going to clean things up at the top, and what we'll do is we'll head to our dashboard and right click and create another new file, and we'll call this one activity filters.tsx. And just like any other component, we're going to import React from React, as we are going to be returning JSX. So we'll say export defaults function, and we'll call it activity filters. And we're going to return, and what do we want to return inside here? Well, we're going to have a menu on the right hand side. So what we'll do is we'll add a menu, and it's going to be a vertical menu, and we'll make it size equal to large, and we'll give it some style, and we're going to want it to take up the full width of its container, so we're going to set this to 100%. And its container is the grid that it's going to be contained in, obviously. So we'll add a header that we get from Semantic UI, and what we'll do is we'll give this header an icon equal to filters, or filter, and we'll make it attached so it attaches to the menu itself, and we'll give it a color equal to teal, and we'll give it some content equal to filters. And below this we'll add a menu.item and make this self-closing, and we'll just give this some content equal to all activities. And we'll just copy this down a couple more times, and in the second one we'll add normal quotation marks, as we want to use I'm going with a single apostrophe. And in the third one we'll do the same kind of thing again and say I'm hosting. And below this menu we'll add another header, and because we're adding another header we need to make this a fragment, so let's just add the fragment shortcut and then cut all of this and put it inside that fragment so that we only return a single element from this component. And below the header we want to add a calendar. We want to allow users to be able to select a date of an activity. And to do that, we're going to need a package to help us with this. And what we're going to use, and we've got a bunch of warnings to clean up here, which we'll come on to very soon. We'll have a bit of a cleanup. And what we're going to do is cd into our client app, very important step. And we're going to say npm install, and we're going to use something called React Calendar. And press return. It's a small package that just allows us to display a calendar that allows us to select a particular date, and we'll be able to use that to select the start date of an activity. And what we'll also need to do with this particular component is we're going to need the types. So we're going to specify @types / React Calendar, as well, as this is required for this component. It's written in JavaScript and doesn't come with a TypeScript definition file, so we also need to add this at the same time. And we've still got all these warnings, or at least I have. Hopefully by the time you're watching this course, Semantic UI has been updated to take advantage of React 17. Like I say, these don't cause us any problems. So now that we have the calendar, what we can use is, let's see if we can just add it directly and say calendar and get this from React Calendar, and that worked. So now we have this in place, what we'll do is we'll head over to our activity dashboard. So let's open this up, and we'll go to our activity filters on the right, and we'll add our new activity filters component, and let's see how we're doing. Okay, we have some styling issues, of course, and our calendar definitely needs a bit of styling, but we can see what we're going for here. And the React Calendar itself comes with a style sheet. So let's go and add this, and we'll go to our index.tsx file. And just above our styles.css, we'll import and we'll say React Calendar /dist /calendar.css. And what we should find, if we go back and refresh our page, is that our calendar now has some actual styling, but we would also like this to take up the full available width of the container as well, and would also like it to be styled a little bit more closely to what we're doing with our segments inside our browser here. So let's add a bit of styling, and a way that we can only add styling to this particular component is we need to target the React Calendar itself. And if we go and inspect and take a look at the class that we have available here, then it's actually just called React Calendar. So we can target this inside our global style sheet, and then we can make a few changes to this. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll go back to VS Code, and what we'll do is we'll open up our styles.css, and inside here what we'll do is say React or .react and -calendar, and we'll give it a width equal to 100%. We'll specify the border equal to none, and we'll give it some box shadow and match this with the segments. So if we go and take a look at the segment above and just inspect, then what we want is the same box shadow that we are using for our menu. So if we click on the UI large vertical menu, then what we can do is just copy the information that we have inside here and then paste this as what we're using for our box shadow. And if we go back and take a look at our calendar, now it's slightly closer to what we're doing in our activity filter. And all we need to do then is just bring down our filters from the top here so it lines up with the first activity in our list. So we'll just go back to VS Code once again. We'll go to our activity filters component, and as well as the width, what we'll do is we'll just add margin top, and we'll set this to 25 and see how this looks. And if we go back, then that's more like it. It's lined up a bit more with the activities in our page here. So that covers our activity filters. What we'll take a look at next is add some style to our home page so it looks a bit more like a home page.